Georgia has taken out Auburn in the annual grudge match, the South's oldest rivalry. Did that fairly easily. Now they've got a date with Mississippi State coming into Athens. We got Anthony Dasher on the line. Of course, Anthony writes for UGA Sports. That's on Rivals. So please check out Anthony's work right there. Anthony, how you doing today?
Hey, doing good, Mark.
All right. The Auburn game, 31-13. It was pretty much a business-like, workmanlike effort. I'm not going to say that they just completely stomped them into the ground, but based on what I saw, never really a threat. Pretty much controlled the game top to bottom. For you, what would be the highs and the lows of the effort against Auburn?
Well, like you said, workmanlike would be a good way to put it, and I think I might have described it as a grind. I mean, nothing pretty by any stretch, but they still, like you said, it's a rivalry game. They still won by 18 points. So, I mean, Kirby Smart, I know, very pleased with that. And well, yes, there are always going to be some areas they need to improve. And, first half issues, again, kind of bit them a little bit. They did score 14 points, which is the most they've done in a game against an FBS opponent in the first half, so far this year. But, overall, they made some good strides and got a good win.
We're in the middle of an SEC season where we've seen Tennessee lose as a 2-touchdown favorite. Bama lose as a 3+ touchdown favorite. Ole Miss was close to a 3-touchdown favorite against Kentucky. Of course, Kentucky almost took down Georgia. And we just got started with this conference. So it might be a little bit more topsy-turvy than we anticipated.
Well, I don't think anybody would have expected what happened, last weekend, which is one of the nuttier weekends I've seen in SEC play ever. I mean, I know nobody figured, it was going to beat Alabama the first time in forever. And really, Arkansas, the job they did against Tennessee. Tennessee's was supposed to have this great, again. And they do. Don't get me wrong. They've got a great offense, but they couldn't get it done against Arkansas on this particular night. So, I mean, it just shows, again, the parity. That's something that Coach Smart talks about all the time. You just don't know in this league, especially on the road. He's always harping on how difficult it can be to win away from your home stadium, and last week certainly proved his point.
And we didn't even mention nobody really surprised that Missouri lost to Texas A&M, but
the way they did, though, the margin of victory, I think, surprised a lot of folks.
Yeah, getting wiped out in that game as well. Really, no Georgia games have been like the Alabama game in that the defense exposed, or maybe it was just, I kind of chalked it up to, just being one of those games that it goes one way. And obviously the defense cleaned it up in the second half while it was a tale of two halves completely. Were there defensive takeaways from that game? Because certainly we didn't see it against Kentucky and we did not see it against Auburn, but they may not be the teams that can capitalize on a team's defensive woes. But any issues that you would be concerned about going forward against better teams, and obviously a date to Texas here pretty soon?
There were some missed tackles. They've had some trouble missed tackles in certain games. Sure, I think they had 15 against Alabama. They had 15 missed tackles against Kentucky. And you mentioned that first half against Alabama. Alabama was just as good as I've seen them look offensively in a long time. I mean, they had the two best players on the field were Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams. But you mentioned the second half, though, Georgia made some adjustments and really pretty much, I won't say stone them. They didn't do that because they obviously came back and won the game. But they played had a lot more success. Holding Alabama to 10 points, or wherever it was there in the second half, and that's kind of what they were hoping they can able to continue moving forward. Last week against Auburn again. Auburn's got a good offense. I mean, nothing spectacular. I mean, Peyton Thorne has had some issues in past games. Although again, he did not turn the ball over once. Here in Athens the other day, but it's still basically the same defense they had last year, same people, same players. Maybe not forcing as many turnovers, but they do have more sacks this year than they did this time last year. So it's still a work in progress, just like everything else is.
Got Anthony Dasher on the line from UGA Sports on Rivals. Check out his work this week as the Dogs prepare to take on the Dogs. Of course, it's that Mississippi State Georgia game that has the Dogs taking on the Dogs. So Mississippi State has, speaking of Vandy, has taken over Vandy's spot as the worst team in the league. I don't think there's any question about that. So what can we really take from this game that you're looking to see if there's been improvement or development?
Well, it's like I was kind of alluding to earlier. I want to see so Jordan get off to a better start, being having more rhythm offensively to start games again, which is something we have not really seen yet, this year. Otherwise, Mississippi State's going to have a hard time. A true freshman quarterback is going to be playing in Sanford Stadium. That's going to be tough on anybody, I would think. But I think Georgia just wants to try to get, like I said, just get their offense going just a little bit, have more rhythm, be more explosive. Because again, next week is the big one, down in Austin against Texas, and they want to go into that game on a high note.
Folks, please like the video and subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football, whether it be on the SEC channel or the Georgia channel, and check out all the other SEC team channels that we have offered for you. All right. Does any of this tie into where recruiting stands right now? Is there anything? I know that this is a slow time in that department, but as Colbie Smart likes to remind us, recruiting never stops. Is there any news out there? Any potential announcements?
No, not quite yet. That is going to be a big weekend, though, as far as recruits coming in. Elijah Griffin, I believe his name is, a 5-star from down in Savannah Christian, is going to be here on the visit. They got some other key defensive players, they're looking at and hoping to get. But like you said, right now it's kind of a slow time. Everybody's getting their commitments a lot earlier now than what they used to. And Georgia did get a commitment this past weekend from Krumah, the running back from down in Lee County, Georgia. I don't want to butcher his first name. It's Usami, I think is how I pronounce it. I don't want to do that to the young man. But they're doing well. I think they're ranked number 5 in Rivals rankings right now, and I suspect by the time get some of these other kids that are really focused on, I think they'll be up around the top of the country.
Yeah, I see that out of Leesburg, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Usami Kroma,
Yep.
6'2", 205. Rated a top 10 running back across the board, it appears, for most of these services. Okay, so had to go quite down the list when it's Georgia, even for a top 10 running back. He's like 12th on the commitment list for 2025, but a heck of a player apparently. So we will be looking out for him. All right, Anthony, we would be remiss if we didn't at least address this Colbie Young situation. I don't know that there's a lot to say because it's obviously in the hands of the authorities. Colbie Young, wide receiver, of course, transferred in from Miami, hit 3 catches against Auburn for 51 yards, 11 catches this year, a couple touchdowns, and misdemeanor charges for battery and assault of an unborn child, which it's a bit ironic that would be the phrasing in a sense. But, Colbie Smart made a statement today. I don't know if there's much that you can add to that.
Oh, he's been suspended. I mean, definitely until the results of whatever takes place with him or happen until it's determined. So again, it's a regrettable thing in all ways, shape, or form. I asked Coach Smart yesterday at his post-practice press conference. Again, it's just like with the driving issues. They bring speakers in, and the stuff about domestic violence is something they harp on more than anything. But again, you just again, I'm not going to say, I hate to sit there and say innocent, guilty, because we really don't know yet. But even for players to put themselves in this position, it's difficult because they're told, they're taught, not to do this kind of thing. Actually, bring in special speakers. They actually have role playing, like what would you do if this person did that? And the whole team is involved. But again, some of this stuff just keeps happening. This is the second type of this, kind of similar to the Ra Thomas, incident, a couple of months ago that has happened, since spring practices it was completed, and that's something you just don't need to see. I mean, I commend Coach Smart for actually coming out and announcing right away that he's suspended. I think that's been one criticism of Colbie, over some of these recent, these past arrests. They've been very tight-lipped about what they're doing. Some of them, so I think at least shows, that kind of stuff won't be tolerated. If you commit the crime, you're not gonna be on the field.
Yeah, we've had the conversations with you, Anthony, about the driving incidents that are just such a strange category of issues that keep coming up over and over and over and over the course of the last, what's almost been, 2 years at this point. And then now, I don't want to incorrectly cite the number. I did see a number in some report about the number of players who have been arrested in the program in the last couple of years, and it was a fairly high
It's
number.
10-7, I think, 7 cents margin. I do want to say something, though, that a lot of people do not realize about the city of Athens, Clark County, Georgia. In Athens, they have a free public online jail report. You can find every single person free. They just got to just Google Athens, Clark County Jail, and you'll get a list of every single person arrested in Clark County, whether it be shoplifting or murder. Other cities, Tuscaloosa, for example, there's a ton. Atlanta, you cannot just Google jail report and find a list of individuals who have been incarcerated. And I think that's one reason why you're seeing, so many more Georgia kids, because the media, myself included, can go on and just go down that list and say who's been arrested. If you don't have access to an online jail report, then the only way you're going to know if something happened to somebody, if it was like a major crime or somebody, kind of tips you off. So I don't think it's the case that Georgia kids are just that much worse than kids from other schools. I just think somebody, again, it's no excuse. This stuff shouldn't be happening at all. But I think some of it, a good bit of it, has to do with the media just doesn't have the kind of access to people who get in trouble that they do in Athens.
It's a valid point. Absolutely. We don't want to step out of bounds in regards to criticism of this. Yes, it's to be taken very seriously, but
Sure.
At the same time, innocent until proven guilty. These are charges. And then also sometimes some things get attention. Other things that are just as severe don't get attention. It just happens to be where it happened, when it happened, who found out, what kind of influence that they have to be able to share it. All those things come into play in terms of how much recognition and how much notice these various issues get. So that's a good point. All right, Anthony, we appreciate you being here.
Sure.
Enjoy the game on Saturday, and we'll track you down for Texas talk next week.
All right, see you.